So at least try to join the session tomorrow by 9 a.m. itself instead of joining late, because there are some US people over here. So for them, the office is getting too late. Okay, so kindly understand this and join the call tomorrow by 9. Okay, thank you all. Okay, everyone knows how to create a Java project, but do you know how to create a Java Maven project? Right. So here there is something called, so this Maven is going to have some plugins. We will be using Maven Archetype Quick Start. So which is basically used to create a plain Java project. Okay. So Maven Archetype and Quick Start. And choose everything from Apache because we are using Maven and Maven is from Apache. Okay. So yesterday I've explained about group ID, artifact ID, but again, I will explain it again. Do you know what is a group ID and what is the artifact ID? Right, good. Okay. So here today we will develop one bank account related transactions project where it will have two APIs. It's not a RESTful API, but basically I'm just going to create two methods, which is going to create one account transaction related method. That means, let's say if you go to bank, if you just withdraw the amount, there will be two types of notifications. One is SMS and one is email. WhatsApp is also there, but we will take these two. And let's say if you are maintaining an email tied up to your bank account, you will receive the account statement every month end as a PDF document, right? So we'll do those two transactions in our side in order to send some notifications, but we will not be writing the notification steps. We'll just do a sysout and we will understand what is happening behind the scenes. And this is a plain Java project, but we'll convert that to Spring framework itself. Okay. So here I just wanted to com dot bank account transaction. And here I just wanted to call this as account transactions. And here I can just give the version 1.0 and then I'll rename this to this thing and finish it. So here you need to press Y in order to create the project completely. And right now we do have this account transactions. Right now I have not given any company name over here in the pom.xml as a group ID right now. So I just have given it's a bank. Okay. So I'll remove all these things, even this one as well. But here we will be using Java 17 version because that version is a long-term support version. So we can use that. And also here, I just wanted to change the target 17. Hey, come. And here I just wanted to remove the build. And this is a plain Java Maven project, which has no dependencies except a Java JDK. Okay. So if you see here, this is a JRE system library. We do get all the classes which we can use it using JDK. So let's say we are using string class, we are using collections, using array list, map, linked hash map, hash set, all these kind of classes we are using it in our project by just simply having this particular library. if we just have to use Spring Framework related classes or libraries, then we need to add the dependency of Spring Framework. Otherwise, this is not going to work. Okay. So let's go to this Java project. And here I just wanted to create one package, a simple package. And here I just wanted to call this as API. And I just wanted to create one more package. So here I will just choose the package hierarchy as hierarchical. And here I just wanted to create one more package, which is called a service. Sorry. Okay. So here I just wanted to create the account transaction API. And I just wanted to create two services for now. One is email and another one is SMS. But I just wanted to create an interface first. This is the notification client. Same like yesterday class, but I just wanted to introduce some functionalities. Okay. And here I just wanted to create a class called email notification client. And SMS notification client. Okay. Now in the account transaction API, I just wanted to maintain two different methods. One is account debit transaction method, which is just going to trigger an email as well as SMS. But for account statement, we'll be having only the email notification. Why? SMS is not valid for account statement because it's an attachment, right? We cannot send an attachment through the SMS. We cannot do that, right? So only the possible option is email, right? So I just wanted to create those two methods here. Public void account debit transaction, public void account statement transaction. Okay. So here I just wanted to take the dependency of, let's go to this interface and add one method, public void send transaction details, or we can actually send the notification. That's it, very simple. Now I just wanted to go to this email client and I just wanted to implement the notification client. And then I just wanted to override that method over here. And here I just wanted to say account transaction details has been sent to your email. And I just wanted to go to this SMS and I just wanted to implement that notification client over here. Send notification. And here I just wanted to do sysout. And the same thing, instead of sending email, we will send SMS. Very simple. Okay. Now I will just go to this main application. I'll remove this sysout. And here, first of all, if you see the classes over here, so I have this account transaction right? So I just wanted to take the notification client, which is the interface, first of all. And I just wanted to make this as email notification client. Because if we want to send SMS and email, for which method it is applicable? Only for this particular method. Okay, so I need to send an email as well as I need to send the SMS. Sorry, I just have to take the notification client only, but we will be setting the implementation class object for this notification client because this is an interface, right? So we cannot create an object for interface, right? So SMS notification client. Okay. Now what I just wanted to do simply this dot email notification dot send notification, and then this dot SMS notification client dot send notification. And for this account statement, because account statement is just a PDF, it's an attachment which will be sent by the bank people, and SMS is not applicable over here. Only the email is valid, right? So I just wanted to copy this line and I just wanted to paste it over here. Very, very simple steps. Okay. So I just wanted to rename this to account transaction system. I just wanted to rename it. Yeah. Now, first of all, this is the main class which we need to, for which we need to create an object, and then we need to call the account debit transaction or account statement transaction based upon the need. Okay. Now, in order to call these methods, which class object I need to create? This one, right? So I will just take this class. We'll just go to this account transaction system but we will automate these steps using Spring Framework anyhow. Okay. So new account transaction API object has been created. Can I call account transaction API dot account debit transaction? Can I call this? So let's say if I just call this will not work. Do you know the reason why? These objects are null values, right? This will not have any instance. And in order to call this email notification client dot send notification of the email, this method has to be called. Then only the account transaction details will be sent to the email, right? So now I just wanted to go back. And here, before calling the account debit transaction, I just have to create email as well as SMS related objects in our class. So notification client. So I'll just call this as email notification client. New email notification client. And I'll just copy this, paste it over here, and I will just rename this to SMS and SMS. Done. Now, can I call this account debit transaction? But we have not set it, right? So probably what we need to do, just go to the source, generate only the setter, select setters. I don't need a getter for now. Done. Now I just wanted to go back to the account transaction system, and before calling this method, I just have to set account transaction API dot set email notification client, and we have set it. And the next thing, account transaction API dot set SMS notification client, and we have set it. Now, when we call this account debit transaction, what will happen? So these two objects are already initialized because we have used the setters. When we have passed this email notification client as an object to the setter and SMS notification client as an object to this method. Okay. Now, this dot email notification client is, that means in this variable, the object will be stored as email notification client object. And in this, SMS notification client object will be stored. Now I can go to this account transaction system and I can just simply run this. The account transaction details has been sent to your email. That means before sending this, I can just keep assist out. So account debit transaction details, right? So I can just simply call this. So debit means SMS will come as well as email will come. Yeah. 1 second, I just wanted to increase the font size. Sorry, general, appearance, colors and fonts, basic, text font, edit. Good to go? Yeah. Okay. So now we have this system which can send account debit transaction, because debit means SMS and email both are valid. But for the account statement, only the PDF statement is sent as an attachment. So email is the only possible reason, right? So let's say parallelly, I just wanted to send account statement. So account statement will come to our mail every month as a PDF. Everyone knows about it. So account transaction API dot account statement transaction. That's it, right? So now I just wanted to comment this and I just wanted to run this. Account transaction details has been sent to your email, because email is the only possible reason for this account statement, right? Now, if you see this over here, how many objects we are creating over here? 1, 2, 3. Imagine if you have 10 or 15 different classes. How many times you will be getting created? 15 times. 20? 20 times 50. So imagine if it is a complex application, we will have n number of classes. We cannot create objects like using new operator and new operator. But the only scenario here is we can create an object using new operator. But even if you create an object for new account transaction API has a dependency on these two objects again. It has to create those dependent objects also. And then only it can call the account debit transaction in order to send an email as well as SMS. That's the total idea. Now, how we can automate all these steps? How we can automate all these steps using Spring Framework? So that's the reason I have designed this system. Okay. So now what we can do, if you just go to the pom.xml and if you just go to the Maven, we do have only Java libraries. We don't have Spring libraries. We just go over here. We have something called Hamcrest Core and JUnit. These are basic dependencies which will come as a part of Maven project. Okay. And right now, if you just see, there is a source test Java where they have actually created app test class. So right now, I just wanted to delete this class first of all. And I don't need this dependency also. Once you remove this dependency, see here, we do have JUnit 4.11. So once I delete this dependency, cut it, save it, and this will disappear over here. See here, completely disappeared. Okay. So in order to use certain softwares or certain libraries in our Java project, we need to add some softwares to this pom.xml as a dependency so that we can make use of the libraries and the classes which are available in Spring Framework. Right now, I cannot convert this application to a Spring Framework, but once I add one dependency, I can convert this application to a Spring Framework based application. Okay, let's add that over here. So I just wanted to type Spring-context space Maven. Go to this. And here you have the latest version of Spring, which is 6.0.13. I just wanted to copy paste the same thing. See, the people who have already listened the session yesterday and day before yesterday, I'm not repeating the same things, but I just wanted to make some different kind of application instead of, giving the same application and again and again. So that's the possible reason. Okay. So here in the dependency stack, once I add the dependencies, I just wanted to save it. If you see here, we do have only the JDK library. But if I just save this, we will get the softwares related to the Spring framework. Okay. Now I can make use of, so right now I can call this as a Spring framework application instead of a Java based application, because this has Spring related functionalities now. Okay. Now what I can do, I will just close all the tabs and I'll just open the main class, which has all these steps. First of all, how we can automate these steps? This and this. We need to create objects? No. Spring framework has to create objects for us. So what we can do, we can add two annotations, configuration. I'll explain again. Yesterday I have explained it with a bakery shop. I'll just explain it again and again. Okay. So @component scan. Sorry. @component scan. Okay. Now minimize this. Now, what is this @configuration and what is this @component scan? Let's say if I just wanted to go to one bakery shop and then I just wanted to give some preparation steps for my cake. I've gone to the bakery shop. I have just given some, I have told him some steps. But when I leave the bakery and so many other people will order their cakes, right? So does the bakery guy remember all these kind of things? No, right? He will forget, right? But basically, let's say he is going again with a paper, writing all the steps, and he has given it. Now the bakery guy, even after the candidate leaves over there from the shop, still he can remember that. That means he has a complete configuration setup. That is something called a configuration. So configuration is like a paper. Component scan is the steps in the paper. Okay. Once the bakery shop has the paper and the steps on it, the same thing, he can actually. So right now, what Spring will do, if it is going to find @component scan. So where is this @component scan defined? So inside the package com.bank.account.transaction. This is a package where this component scan tag has been placed. Now what it will do, it will just go to this particular package, and I just wanted to annotate these classes with @component. 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 And these steps are not required. The objects will be created by Spring. Got it? That's the simple idea. So, but I just wanted to comment this out. Okay. Now, the other thing is, now there are setters also, right? There are setters, but how it is, do we need a setter for that? No. There's something called @autovide. Basically, it will set the data of the email notification client object directly. We don't need a setter, and I'm just going to remove this setter. This is not needed. Internally, Spring will identify the implementation class object and it will inject it. And next, @autovide, and we don't need this setter. Everything has been reconfigured with annotations, and we have converted this application to a Spring Core based application. Now, if you just go to this account transaction API, I don't need these steps also. But next, I just wanted to comment this out for now because we need an account transaction API object, right? But before that, I just wanted to do, there's something called an application context. If you see this interface is basically from the Spring framework. This is one of the library or the interface present in the Spring framework library. Okay. So I just wanted to use this application context equal to, there are so many implementation class objects. For the notification client, we do have SMS as well as email. Like that, for application context also, there are different implementation classes. Since we have used annotations, we need to create annotation config application context. And then we need to provide our configuration class name. So what is this meaning? Let's say if I don't do this, if I run this main class, what will happen? Nothing will happen, right? So even when I place all these annotations, so right now I have a paper, I have some steps on it. If I don't go to bakery shop, will he prepare the cake? Like the same wise, I just have to create. That means I need to intimate Spring that, hey, take my configuration class. That means take my paper. That means this one, which has some steps in it. And I'm going to provide my configuration class. And Spring understands that, hey, this is the main configuration class. That means main class. And it sees @component scan. Hey, there is a component scan annotation mentioned on top of the class. Now what it will do, wherever this annotation is present, Spring knows that it's a part of this project. This is a package. So now it will go to this package and it will go to the sub packages also. It is applicable for the child packages also. Now it will go to this API package and it will see that, hey, account transaction API has been annotated with @component. It will create an object. And it will go to the service package and it will go to this particular class. And if it finds @component on top of this class, an object will be created for this email notification client. And then this is the interface. It has nothing. So it will go to the SMS notification client. And if it finds @component, it will create an object for this particular class. Very, very, very simple. So we don't have to create objects using new operator. And we don't have to call this objects to set the data of the implementation class object to this interface. We cannot do that, right? So we can use @autovide, which will basically set this email notification client and the SMS notification client by the Spring framework itself. Now, if I just go to this account transaction system, and here, I just wanted to get application context. So what I just wanted to say, once we give the configuration class object, that means the class to this annotation config Spring application context, it will trigger Spring container. So basically we call this application context as a container because all the objects created for our classes will be stored in this application context. Okay, I just wanted to show that to you right now. Application context dot get bean definition names. So in core Java, we call an instance as an object. We call it as an object. But in Spring, it is named as bean. Okay. So here I will just get this. So these are basically returning string names. Okay. Now I just wanted to do a sysout and bean objects. Now I will just debug this application in order to show you what are all the objects are created. Okay. So switch. So here we'll go one step further. Now it's done. Now, if you see this application context, there's something called a bean factory. That means this is a factory which is going to store all our class objects. Let's see what are all the objects Spring created behind the scenes. There's something called bean definition names. These are all the objects that it has created. Can you see that? Can you see that? So how many objects are created by Spring? So some required classes objects, that means internal configuration annotation processor, auto-wide annotation processor. Because we have used auto-wide, so it has to generate a setter for those dependent objects. And then probably listener processor, event listener factory that is related internally to Spring. And our classes, account transaction system, account transaction API, email notification client, and SMS notification client. So behind the scenes, it has created all the objects by simply just providing our configuration class. That's it. It has a paper and it has the steps on it. What is the paper? So this is a paper. So it has some steps, what objects has to be created during the startup of the application. Very, very simple. Any questions on this, first of all? Clear, right? Any questions from anyone? Don't think that this is a real-time project. I understand, but there are some people who are basically from core Java background. They need to know Spring, otherwise they will leave this. I just wanted to, show some production use cases where Spring is going to do some automation steps for us. That's the only reason. I just wanted to show all these things. Okay. So anyone has any questions till now, whatever has been discussed? I just wanted to focus on the questions first of all, because yesterday I have not answered most of the questions. I just wanted to say it now. Do you have any questions? Anyone? Everyone has got the picture, the complete picture? Or if anyone wanted to answer, you can just ask it. I think it is crystal clear for everyone. Right? Okay, Suresh Prasad.
So yesterday, yesterday you explained, right? When you create a Maven project, right? Group name you give company name, but here we gave some bank.
One second, Suresh. One second. Yes, Suresh, you can ask your question now.
So, so what I was asking is, like yesterday, when you create a Maven project, right? The group name, what we gave is some company name, right? Normally,
Right.
today
Exactly.
com.bank. So what is the standard practice? Like we give some
See, normally this is something related to our dummy bank, right? So this is not a real bank system, right? So whatever the project that we see, let's say I work for a company, EPAM systems. So whenever I just wanted to create a software inside the EPAM systems organization, basically the group ID can be given as org.epamsystems or com.epamsystems. So that is a group ID. That means what is the software application name? So right now the application name is account transactions in our case. This is dummy transactions. But in real time, if I just have to develop a notification system, that means I will name that application name as notification API. The artifact ID is notification API, but the group ID will be com.epamsystems.api or .notification.api. So this is how we actually give. Suresh, think you are muted. Okay, let me unmute once again. Yeah, tell me, Suresh.
Yeah. So if you have, let's say, they have multiple modules, right? Let's say a banking application. So they have some loan. Again, will have so many packages and all that.
Right.
Or they have some withdrawal or deposit, right? So again, on the side that they might have multiple products, right? So
Right.
in that case, how will be the naming convention? Like where the
Okay,
loan
so
is.
see, basically in bank system, right? So normally we do have lots and lots of applications names. That means, let's say if I just wanted to do only the transaction related things, right, for my bank. So there is something called a transaction API. That is one application. And there is something called loans module, which can be business loans or, home loans or personal loans. And the other part of it is card transactions. It can be a debit card or it can be a credit card or any card, whatever it is. And let's come to this account statement transactions. So these are actually related to day-by-day transaction details of our bank. So like this, we do have n number of modules. Let's say we do have the cards module, accounts module. That means it can be a savings account or current account, or if it is stock market related account, that is another account, right? Demat account. So let's say if you have something called related to cards management, so there is a card service, right? Like basically we do have lots and lots of modules when it comes to banking application. So let's say if you consider accounts, cards, loans, and transaction related things, as well as notifications. So we do have 5 applications. One is notification API, accounts API, cards API, loans API, and transactions related API. So 5 different applications. So we can have 5 different Java based applications or microservices when it comes to Spring Boot. Suresh.
Okay.
Yeah. So based on that, if you just go to this pom.xml, so here we need to give our group ID as, let's say, EPAM dot systems dot transactions. And I just wanted to make this as transaction API. This is one application. And if I just wanted to develop another application, we will give the same package, the group ID, but here we will be calling as notifications. And we will call this as notifications API.
Okay, so here application name will be like transactions and
Sorry?
beyond module, right?
Yes. So right now, group ID, artifact ID, and version are related to one Java Maven project. And if you wanted to create another project, we need to give the another different group ID, artifact ID, and the version. Okay,
So
Suresh?
one application will have multiple modules, right?
Yeah, sorry.
So one application will have multiple modules.
Yeah, it can have. It actually depends.
So kind of parent and child, right? Parent.
Right. There is something called a Maven multi-module project. I don't think that most of the articles have explained it in Google, but there is something called a Maven multi-module project where we do have a parent project and child projects as well. So right now, if you can see, there is a account transactions Maven, Java Maven project only. But this account transactions can have debit transactions module as well as another credit transactions module. So we can do that one as well by using Maven multi-module project, not as a Java Maven project. Okay.
So in that case, parent will have one form.
So I will just show it to you, one real-time application, which right now I am doing it for real-time batch at 6 p.m. Okay. So let me show it to you.
Sorry.
1 second. This is a movie ticket booking system. I just wanted to show you how I have divided. So if you see here, this is a main project, Maven movie ticket booking system. But here, if you see that, I have a pom.xml. For all the projects, the parent is Spring Boot starter parent. But here, if you see the modules, booking service, movie services registry, payment service, notification service, API gateway, and commons. So this is how I have actually defined. And if you just go to the booking service, the parent of this application will be our movie ticket booking system and not the Spring Boot starter parent. So if you just go to this pom.xml, so here I have added the parent as com.movie.ticket.booking.system, movie ticket booking system. And this is the name of the parent project. So if you see here, this is the one.
So
But this is
saying,
complicated.
so,
Don't,
yeah,
you know,
got it.
right
Yeah.
now
So,
you don't have to worry about it.
So if I understand correctly, like whatever dependencies which are common across all the modules, that will be putting inside the
Parent
BOM
project.
of the
Yeah.
parent.
So we'll
And
keep
the
this
parent will be
dependencies in
coming
this.
out in this module.
Yes, right. Exactly.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. So anyone has any other questions apart from Suresh? Anyone? Have you understood the automation steps that we have done using the Spring Framework core library? Okay. So I think someone has messaged. Why are we creating two group IDs over here? It's just an example. We will not create two group IDs for a single Java Maven project, Debapriya. Okay. So we will be having only one group ID, one artifact ID, and one version for Java Maven project. Hope you understand. Thank you. And so when the mini project and so Akash, so these are basically the demo sessions. I just have to cover some topics. I cannot give the theory content. People will run away. First of all, I just wanted to focus on the main thing where people are from core Java background, and some people know about Spring Core modules, web modules, and all this kind of things, but they don't know how why we are using Spring Framework, what actually it provides. So no one knows about it. I just wanted to clarify those things with different applications that I actually know. Okay, so that's a total idea. Any other questions? I hope this is clear because I was explaining these kind of examples from the day before yesterday. So I think everyone is confident in that. So yeah, so basically group ID is a company name and artifact is a project name. Yes, Ajit, you're right. Any other questions from anyone? Okay, but I just wanted to explain one flaw in that project. Okay, let me explain that drawback. I just wanted to go to this pom.xml and I just wanted to revert this. That's it, right? Okay. Now I just wanted to close this form. And if you see here, we have got all the objects. Now the only thing that we need to do, so since we have all the objects in the application context, we have to get the main object. What is the main object? Which class we need to call? The account transaction API methods only, right? So this method I need to call and this method I need to call. So I need to get account transaction API. But what is the bean name over here? If you just see the bean name, bean factory, bean definition names. So account transaction, see, Spring is going to follow the same rules, how we are actually creating the variable naming conventions, the object variable naming conventions. Spring is also going to follow the same approach. It's not going to follow any other approach. Okay. So what we can do now, since we have all these objects, since we need to get only one object, and behind the scenes it will inject the required objects. Okay. So I just wanted to remove all this. And now I just wanted to, do I need these steps? First of all, no, I will just remove this. And here I just have to do one single step, application context dot get bean of, what is the bean name? If you take this class, how the object has been created for this class, I'll just give this and a with cap small letter. That's it. And we will get the account transaction API and then account transaction API. But if you see here, there is an exception over here. That means basically this get bean is actually returning an object. We need to typecast this to our account transaction API. So then only it will work. But I just don't want to do typecasting. For that also Spring has provided a good amount of APIs, which is something called account transaction API dot class. Very simple. And we don't have to do the typecasting over here. We have removed it, and probably we have got this account transaction API. I'll just comment out these two parts. There you go. Got it? Simple, right? So if you don't understand these automation steps, if someone asks, what is the Spring framework, why we are using it, if anyone asks about it, you should have a solid understanding on that. Probably you can just give the same example that you just wanted to, and then probably they will understand from your side. But the solid understanding is really necessary. Otherwise, the interviewer will not understand what you are actually. So the first point itself, whenever you are interacting with the interviewer, the first point must be a solid point to make him convinced that, yes, this guy is having a solid understanding. Don't start with, hey, @AutoVide is basically from Spring provided, it will be set, and then you just don't have to, jump between your answers. This is one of the steps that you have to take care while you are giving an interview to an interviewer. So all these steps are mandatory. Okay. I'm not getting most of the questions. Yesterday, there were so many people who are asking some questions. Yeah, you can also cover JFrog or Nexus repository creation on AWS used in the project. Satya, we will not be using JFrog or Nexus repository. Okay. So we should have some accounts for that, but we will be using some other services in the AWS, but I will let you know, not now. So please explain application context once more. Okay, Devapriya. Let me unmute you first of all. Hey, Devapriya.
Yeah, hi.
Yeah. Hi. Tell me.
Yeah, so I'm not understanding what is the exact purpose of application context.
Okay. So I have already explained with an example, right? Let's imagine you have this main class. This is the main class.
Yeah.
This is the main class, right? So what are all the annotations that I have used here?
Configuration and component scan.
Yeah. So did you understand what is the configuration basically?
Yeah, it is containing the steps which are the classes.
Right. So in order to identify these steps, there has to be @configuration first of all. Otherwise, this is not valid.
Okay.
Okay. Now these two steps are clear to you?
Yeah.
Okay. Now imagine you have the paper and you have the steps within the paper. Unless you take this paper to a bakery guy, can he prepare a cake for you?
No.
No, right? The same way, we need to provide a starting point. See, let's say if I just wanted to comment this part, first of all, nothing will work, nothing will execute, right? So if I just uncomment this again, so basically application context is one of the factory where our objects will be created. Okay. That means it's like a storage for our objects.
That is the bin factory.
Yes, right.
Okay.
Okay. Now, I just when Spring is going to run, right? So basically, what happens whenever Spring is going to run this application, Spring has to know about our main class. What is our main class? First of all, account transaction system. I just have to provide this account transaction system to this annotation config application context, because this annotation application context is basically the implementation. We do have a lot of implementations for application context. If you see this is an interface, my friend. This is an interface. Okay. So we cannot create an object for application context, but there's something called, apart from this, we do have something called annotation config application context. Why I have provided annotation config application context? Because since we are using annotations, I need to provide only this application context, which is having annotation configurations. And what is the main configuration class? This one. This is the main class. If I just provide this .class file to this annotation config application context, then Spring understand that, hey, this is the main class. Let me look on top of this class. What are all the steps that developer has given? Hey, he has given me one configuration. Okay, I will go next. Hey, there is @component scan. That means I have to scan the packages from this package, because this component scan is placed on top of this class, and this component scan is belonging to this package. So now it goes to the package on the left side. I'll just make it as package level as hierarchy so that you will understand. Yeah. So this one, yeah. So now what it actually does, it goes to this package and the sub packages and the classes. Once it sees @component annotation, it understands that when any annotation or when any class is annotated with @component on top of a class, it understands that it has to create an object and store that object in this application context factory. Unless we provide the main configuration class, Spring is not going to understand what are all the classes existed in our application and what are all the objects that it has to create. So that's very simple.
Okay. Right.
Now ask me again if you have any questions. I will just clarify, because there are so many people who will not understand these terms in the first session itself. Okay. Any
Okay.
concerns, Debapriya, again?
Yeah, I got it.
You got it right. Thank you so much. Yeah. So are we using in main project? AOP, see, previously we do have some modules in Spring like Spring Core. Right now we are using Spring Core. To get the core libraries, we add Spring Context artifact. In order to get AOP dependency, we will add Spring AOP. In order to add web-related functionality, we will add Spring-web. And in order to add security to our application, we add Spring-security. So all these different modules are there. But at the end, no one will develop Spring applications, but we will use Spring Boot to develop Spring Framework applications. That is very simple. But I will tell you when we need to use Spring Boot and when we need to use Spring Framework. Okay. So AOP is being used, Katasani, in the project. So you don't have to worry about that. Any questions from anyone? Which one is better? XML. Okay, let me show you the XML configuration. First of all, you will understand about this, configuration. So right now we have placed configuration only, right? Now let's say I just wanted to go to the Google and I just wanted to say Spring configuration XML. Let's see this configuration first of all and understand what are there behind the scenes. So if you just go to this, yeah, see here. So if you consider our class, let's take one class over here. Okay, so this is a bean ID. So if you just go to this account transaction API, okay. So how to define a configuration XML instead of annotation? So I just wanted to open a notepad now, and let's understand when we can use configuration XML and when we can use annotation. But no one uses XML. I will tell you behind the scenes what will happen now. So if I just have to define this bean inside XML, first of all, I need to get this schema first of all. We need to add this, but this is the old approach, but the new approach is, this is easy, adding this one is easy, or adding this one is easy. Okay, so if you wanted to make use of XML, you can define all these tags. And if you just wanted to go with single annotation, it will basically create this type of schema for us behind the scenes. That's the magic Spring annotation is going to get to us for our environment. No one will define. And let's say right now, how many beans are there? This is one bean, account transaction API, email notification client, and SMS notification client. Now let's define this inside our XML. So bean ID is, what is the object name and what is the class? So if I just go to this, I just have to copy this com.dot and this. And the ID is the object name basically. So now this class has a dependency on closing bean has to be there. Now I have to define the properties. What are all the properties are there inside this? Yes. So 1 second. I just wanted to explain one basic thing. Otherwise, people will not understand. Property name is this one, right? Will you define all these kind of things first of all? And here it has to ref another bean. So I need to create one more bean. So instead of this, we can just use account transaction API space account transaction API equal to new account transaction API, and then email notification client equal to new email notification client. We can simply use that using Java, right? So now I need to define ID as, so don't worry, I'll just finish this. And here, I just wanted to copy this package API.service, right? API.service and email notification client. So this becomes huge when we have 200 plus classes. Can you write the XML first of all? So here I will just refer to this bean ID over here. And again, this has a dependency. See how much complicated this one is. So I do have to define another property also over here, which is SMS. If you just wanted to use SMS, the configuration XML, you can just go for it. But no one asks you that this can be used. Okay. So here, no. So here I just have to rename this to SMS. And here the object name is SMS. So this is how basically we provide. So here account transaction API object will be created, but it has a dependency. So first it will go to this beans and it will create an object. And then probably once these are there, then probably it will return account transaction API back to us. So all these kind of things will be eliminated by simple @configuration and @component scan. That's it. Very, very simple. Multi-threading is not being used, Satya Prasad, in our project because we will be developing a mini project, which is a movie ticket booking system, followed by a Swiggy-based application, where we'll be interacting with the real-time payment gateways like PayPal, Stripe, etc. And I don't think that we need to use multi-threading for our application because multi-threading is basically used for finance-based applications, basically, because finance or banking applications are actually related to transactions, right? Let's say the same person is going to do multiple transactions and some other person is going to open his account and doing some other transactions. So those transactions does not have to collide with each other. Everything has to be run in a separate thread. So in those kind of cases, we use multi-threading approach. But we'll be using the multi-threading approach only for the API gateway level, where we will be generating the JWT token to access or to provide access to our microservices. Okay. So which version of Java we'll be using? We'll be using Java 17 version, which is a long-term support version, Harshal. We are going to use logging. For logging, we do not need AOP Katasani. AOP is the old library. We cannot use it for logging. We do have some other logging systems in Spring Cloud, which is something called Spring Cloud Sleuth. Okay, we can use it for our microservices login, where we have trace ID, span ID, and all this kind of things. Got it, Katasani? So AOP is very old. No one is using it, Katasani. There are so many alternatives came into the market. Let's say there is a Spring framework already in the market. Why Spring Boot came into the market first? Spring Boot and Spring Framework both are belonging to the Spring Framework organization only. But what Spring Framework, if you see this, can you see this configuration XML? How many steps we have defined? All these things, right? But let's say if I just have to develop a web-based application, we need a server, right? On top of a server, we can run our Spring Web application. So we need to set up a Tomcat server basically in our IDE over here. If you just see over here, there's something called window, show view, and there is something called servers. So here we need to add Tomcat server in order to make our application as a web application. But when we are actually developing web application using Spring Boot, we don't have to set up Tomcat server because Spring Boot internally has a server embedded in it. So all this kind of steps is, let's say right now we are not using the old fashioned. We are using Spring 6. So configuration XMLs are not needed. Now, Spring Boot is going to provide more mechanisms behind the scenes, but I will just explain you with an example maybe tomorrow to make sure that how Spring Boot is really hot topic in the market and why we can use it to develop our microservices. No one is using Spring Framework alone to develop services. Everyone is going to develop Spring Boot. I think that most of the people doesn't know the difference between Spring Framework and Spring Boot. They are not different, they are same. In Spring Boot, we are not developing any applications. We are going to develop Spring Framework based applications only. Spring Framework is the core part. Spring Boot is going to provide some softwares to make our development easier. That's it. There's no difference between Spring Framework and Spring Boot. Spring Boot is just a technology where it helps the developers to develop Spring Framework based applications by avoiding to write a lot of code from our side. That's it. Very simple. Okay. Let me see some other questions. For security part app using, so we will be using security. So we'll be using the security at the API gateway level, not at the services level. So at the API gateway, we'll be implementing the security with JWT token. So you can check with Shrikant Parth Mazo Muzarkar. So probably he will help you. Yeah, hi Om. Tell me. Satya Prasad, can you cover the session on login catch? Don't require to log in again. Yes, we will work on that, Satya. Okay. That's a part of this particular project itself. So in the mini project, we'll be using MySQL and Kafka. But in the major project, we'll be using Kafka. We'll not be using MySQL because we will be using AWS RDS. We'll be using DynamoDB, which is a NoSQL DB. And we'll be using AWS Lambda for serverless based applications. Okay. So I'm trained in Java, but I have an interview regarding a testing role. Should I go with the interview and in the same organization, can I able to switch the role to a developer side in the, yes, so many people in the same organization, let's take my company, they can learn whatever the technology that they need to. But if they just wanted to switch their role, probably they have to give some interview in the same company and they can switch their role over in the same company. So that is applicable for all the companies. Yeah. Sorry? See, right now you are working as a JavaScript, imagine, right? You just wanted to Spring Boot. So in the same organization, you can just do that, right? It's an available option for every company. So basically, you just have to talk to your manager. So basically, you can say all these things that right now, I just wanted to work on Spring Boot. I have learned all this, but I can just go through the interview. You can arrange it. No company will, does not allow the employees to switch on to some other technologies. Companies always allow because you are going to generate revenue for the company, right? So they will not say no, they will say yes only. But it actually depends on the project also, because let's say you are the key role for the project, they will not release you, right? So those are all the things are there, but no company does not allow you to join or switch any other technology in the same company. Oh, 1 second. So to send notifications, we are using email or any third-party notification API. No, we are using email, Akash. So we will be using email for our mini project, but for the major project, in order to send the notifications, we'll be using the AWS notification system, which is something called the Kafka Streams. Okay. This batch and Spring Boot batch. Om Prakash, Spring Boot batch is basically for the people who just wanted to learn Spring Boot microservices. But this batch is basically for developing Spring Boot microservices with a real-time project. In the Spring Boot batch, we'll be doing only the mini project and not the real-time project. That's the only difference between that and this. Okay, Om Prakash, 1 second. I will just unmute you. Yes, Om Prakash, you can talk.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, hi.
Hi, sir. Sir, actually, I am working as a mechanical design engineer. Okay. So I wanted to show some 3-year experience. So, and I have knowledge about this core Java, and also I have some little bit knowledge about this Spring Boot.
Okay.
So, should I go ahead with this real-time project only, or can I take this Spring Boot batch also? Can I join? Like
Yeah,
both?
you can join either of the batches. Real-time project is very much complicated right now. The mini project is still complicated for some people because it has a lot of Kafka-related integrations. The real-time project is huge and it is having so much because I'm just doing live coding. So it's not that I just wanted to write the code before and show it to the people who are there in the session. So right now I'm doing that, but for you, I think a mini project or the real-time project, it actually depends upon you. If you just wanted to do a mini project followed by the real-time project, you can join this batch, or you can just switch to Spring Boot batch itself, where it is going to take 2 months of time in order to complete. Prakash.
Sir, no. So only can I, if I will join Spring Boot, then I no. Okay. Can I, if I will join this real time project? Okay. So can I have a solid understanding about this Spring Boot?
You can get it from the mini project also, Prakash. Okay. So whatever the sessions that I take, whether it's for Spring Boot with microservices or the real-time project, right? So basically, I just wanted to cover every topic in depth and I just wanted to give a solid understanding. But if you just wanted to keep 3+ years of experience, so based on that input, you can just join this real-time project instead of joining in the Spring Boot microservices batch in the morning session 7:30 of mine.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Sorry. So tools. Yeah. 1 second. Basically, this is the third session, right? So I just wanted to show it to you. These are the different tools. So IDE, anyhow, it's a part. Visual Studio Code is basically used for Angular web-based application. So Maven, JUnit, Mockito, Swagger, Jacoco, SonarQube, Lombok, Angular CL, Git Bash, Docker. So I will be taking a special care in Docker because Docker is mostly used in 100% of the applications. Okay. And then AWS CLI to interact with AWS services in the cloud. We'll not be using local databases. We'll be using the databases on the cloud. And then followed by Docker Compose. I will explain about this maybe in some sessions. And Kafka. So this is basically if you just wanted to call one Java application to another Java application. That means there are 10 different Java applications. They have to communicate where we can basically use. Yeah. class leading Japan. Okay, sure. Okay, so Kafka is basically used for asynchronous communication. That means once we submit a request, we cannot wait for the request. We can just go with some other steps. So Kafka can be used to write a non-blocking code. Okay, and Grafana. So this is basically, let's say if our application is running, we just wanted to see what is the health of the application, what is the CPU that has been consumed by our application. All these things can be seen in this Grafana dashboard. I have already shown this dashboard, but right now time is almost out. So then ELK stack. So this is basically to see the logs of our applications. And then followed by Redis. This is basically used for performance applications to not hit the database again and again. Instead of that, we actually implement a cache mechanism to get the objects from the cache if they are available. If they are not available in the cache, probably it will get and hit the DB for the records. So every time hitting the DB is a costly operation. Okay. And then JMeter, this is basically used for performance testing. This is just to check whether how our application is actually behaving, what type of load and what is the threshold that it is going to take. And then Postman, this is basically used for sending the get request, post request, and all those kind of things. But the alternative for this one will be the Swagger. Okay. And there's something called Offset Explorer. We can see this Kafka related data in this Offset Explorer. So this is a beautiful UI. Okay. So these are all the tools. And this is the mini project that we are going to do. So we do have 3 services: booking service. This is one Java application. This is a payment service. This is a notification service. So this payment service will interact with the PayPal. So right now I just have used the Stripe payment gateway. So probably the session is already over. If you just wanted to leave, you can leave, because I just wanted to explain some things to some people who do not aware of the architecture and the applications that we are going to develop. Have a great day to you all. So if you just wanted to go to this Stripe payment gateway, so here we have actually done some payments from the Java application. I can just show you some test payments. Yesterday also I have done some transactions with small amounts. I'll just show you that. So this is something like a Paytm, PayPal, or PhonePe, something like that. I have just used Stripe because it is very easy to use in Java applications. So I just wanted to show the test payments that I have done using my Spring Boot application. If you just go to the payments, so these are all the payments that I have done. So yesterday also, November 2, 11:54, I have just used this as a test payment. And if you just click on this, you'll get all the credit card details and all those kind of things. See here, the payment method, credit card Visa, 11:54 p.m. The timeline, payment succeeded or not. The statement descriptor, ABC Systems, amount 6.50, status is succeeded. So how I have actually, called this payment gateway, if you just see the home page, I have something called a secret key over here. So this secret key has to be used in our Java Spring Boot application in order to call that particular APIs. Right now, how we are actually calling the APIs of Spring Framework, application context, new configuration, application context, and we are providing the configuration class name. Like the same way, if you just see the mini project, here we have added the payment Stripe payment API gateway as a dependency. If you just go to this payment service, to just the payment service, there's something called a Stripe. And here in the source main resources, I've actually used this Stripe key. Without this, you cannot communicate with that particular payment gateway. It's not a simple. So these are demo sessions, right? Only basic things will work, because people who are from core Java, they will not be able to understand if I directly work on the mini project directly. So that is very, very complicated. And all these steps will be explained to you once the mini project starts. So mini project will start maybe in 1 week. So meanwhile, I just wanted to refresh all these concepts behind the scenes. Okay. So once you do this, you can just keep this type of project inside your resume also, because there is a payment service, there is a booking service. Once you go to the Book My Show, you just select the movie, you just select the theater, just select the seats, and so on, make the payment. Once the payment is successful, initially, once the booking details are saved, it is going to save it as a pending status. But after the payment is successful, it is just going to convert that booking status pending from pending to confirmed. So this is how we actually done this. So that's the total idea. Sir, how to use Kafka for two-way communication between services? Okay, I just wanted to show one code. If you just wanted to understand, you can understand. So here, in the source main booking resources, I have just used this. If you see this, so here I have actually configured the Kafka. This is the producer and this is the consumer. Okay, and here I have actually provided the Kafka listener as well as the producer. This is the project from the real-time project batch, which is happening at 6 p.m. So this is the Kafka listener, this is the payment response topic, and this is the payment request topic. So once we need to pay, we just call the booking service to make a payment details. So here in the booking DTO, if you can see that there is an amount also over here. This booking amount is nothing but the payment that you can see over here. The test payment. Got it? And this is a request. If you just wanted to see the request, this is the request that I have submitted as today. See here. So this, these are all the details. Got it? So this is a mini project, but in the major project, we will be having a big JSON. Okay. So that's the total idea, guys. PN Rao, is that okay? So we'll be using Kafka listeners, Kafka producers in the booking service as well as the payment service. We'll configure just the Kafka listeners as consumers and publishers as producers. So in 6 p.m. mini project completed. Yeah, it's already completed, Katasani Purushottam. It's been almost 1 month, 10 days. It has been passed. Sir, all the payment gateway integration approaches are the same. Like if we have, all the payment integrations are actually the same. They will provide some secret keys and API keys. But for Stripe, it is actually a secret key. But for PayPal, there will be a publishable key and as well as the API key. We need to use both. So previous batch project and this batch project. No, it's not the same, Harshal. It's different. It's different batch. Okay. So how many sessions are needed for the mini project? So sessions are actually 12 sessions I have taken for that. So every day 1.5 hours. Sometimes it can go to 2 hours also. But 12 sessions are already completed. But the problem is there are some people who do not understand some things. Them I will be explaining step-by-step approach so that they can understand and they can implement also. So these are the applications which I have already committed into the GitHub. If you just see the GitHub account over here. So this is my GitHub account. So you can get these projects from here. And also there is a WhatsApp group for the real-time batch where people will ask a lot of questions. And if they are working on some project applications, right? The project which I have developed, if they face any issues, they will ping it over here. If I can give some answer, I can give, but there are some people who are very good in developing the applications. They will also answer. So here there are almost 111 candidates from real-time batch. So here, if you can see, they have actually shared some screenshot. They will ask a lot of questions. They have actually shown that the payment is failed for some people, right? So these are the seats booking and all these kind of things. Okay. So we are going to maintain a WhatsApp group also for this kind of real-time batch so that it will be easy for everyone to communicate over there. And there are some people also, Farooq, Rohit, and Hari Krishna is also there in this part of real-time project. He will be helping some people because he is good enough. And Farooq is also very good in doing the coding very fast. So those people will try to help if I don't see the messages. And if no one is going to solve that, probably I will pitch in over there. Okay, so that's the total idea, guys. So Suresh Prasad again. So what happened, Suresh? Any questions again?
Yeah, I have some question, like couple of
Yeah.
questions. So are you also covering the React part, some basics as part of this project?
Yeah. So Angular will be taught over here. So the first month, the mini project will be done. From the second month, there will be 7 to 10 different sessions according to the understanding of the people, because so many people do not have any idea on the UI. So basically, I will be taking some basic sessions to make them understand about the front end part. Unless I cannot go and create the UI, they will not be able to understand anything, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So you will take few sessions for the basic
Yes,
part.
right. Yeah, for the
And you said first will be the mini project and followed by live project, or how is that?
Yeah, it's a major project which will be having the UI as well as the backend.
And timing will be like 9 o'clock to is 2 hours, or how is that?
Yeah, it will be basically from 9 to 10, but probably every day I cannot do the coding. I will be taking some sessions on explaining the project again and again so that people will understand, Suresh.
Okay.
Okay.
Is it possible to move little like before, instead of 9, like 8:30 to like 1?
Sure, Suresh. I will check with the management. I will let you know. Okay. So basically 10 is okay for you. That means 9 to 10 is a bit difficult for you, or how it is like?
Yeah, if it is before, that will be really great, because
Okay. Probably I will be
very
starting the
slowly.
session probably by 8:45. Okay. So that it will be good, right? So at least it will go till 1 hour, 15 minutes, right? So that will be good.
That will be good.
Yeah. Thank you, Suresh.
And one more.
Oh, yes. Tell me, please. You can unmute. You can unmute, Suresh.
So what I was asking is, like, we are using Gradle. So like, will you also teach
I think Gradle and Maven doesn't matter. Even if you use Gradle, that means you are not a good developer. If you use Maven, you are not a bad developer. So both the tools are actually the same in the industry, but while using Gradle, we can execute some scripts. But while using Maven, pom.xml, we cannot execute.
Something like server returns, HTTP response.
I think for our project, Gradle is not required, but Gradle is going to use Groovy language that is not a part of Java. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you can cover a little bit about some Gradle lifecycle, like that will be really great sometime.
Sure, definitely. I will do that anyhow. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. So I think so 9 to 10 is fine, because 8 to 9 I have 8 to 9 will not be there. So probably 8:45 or 8:50. Basically, we will see that and discuss with the management. Okay. And the other people, Nimesh Sen.
Hello, sir.
Hi, Nimesh. How are you?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Tell me, Nimesh.
Sir, my question is, will you explain some of the concept of web plugs?
Yes, we will be doing the API gateway implementation, right? So API gateway, Spring Cloud API gateway uses WebFlux dependency. So basically, it is used to write a reactive programming. So while implementing the security, we need to write the reactive code only. So at the API gateway level, you will get the things.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. That's the only question.
Yes, sir. One more question, sir. What will be the domain for our main project?
Sorry, Nimesh.
Domain, sir. What will be the domain?
It's a e-commerce domain, mainly into food technology. Like Swiggy or Zomato is already there, right? So we have a lot of restaurants, and for one restaurant, we will have a lot of menu items. But probably for our application, we'll just maintain 2 to 3 restaurants and our menu items. That's it.
Okay, sir. Will deploy also?
Yeah, we will deploy that to AWS cloud.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah. Yeah, I think the session is already done, so you can leave. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, everyone, and have a great day. Bye.